All right, welcome everybody. So my name is Alex Seletsky. As you know, I'm part of Team Goats. So our NFT project Goats of Meta. I'm in charge of communications. Today I got a very special guest. I got a very special treat. Somebody who's helped us out a lot, who's on board of our team, who's been working on the characters for our cartoon. So can you please introduce yourself and what's your name?
This is Louis Tane. Hi, everyone.
And we've known each other for quite some time, so I'm familiar with what you've been doing. I know a lot of your work. I've seen a lot of your sketches. But can you just give a background on what you're doing right now, or maybe some of the well-known projects that everybody would recognize that you work
on? Right. So I'm a 3D artist, work for CGCG Taipei. And current film we're working on, How to Train Your Dragon, Jurassic World, and also Fast and Furious by Razors. Yeah.
And I think you told me before you did Kung Fu Panda as well? Like you worked on Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah, partially.
And,
yes.
Yeah. And was it Shrek as well?
Shrek was from the early day, but then just very little, just the sets.
I think I was still a kid when Shrek came out. I was like 4 or 5 years old when it came out.
Right.
All right, Louis, can you tell us a little bit about like how you started? Because a lot of people are going to see your work, the characters that you're making. Of course, it's going to be part of our NFT crypto cartoon. But can you just take me through how did you start in arts? Was it something that you always wanted to do, or was it something that started as a hobby and you turned into your career? And I've seen a lot of your sketches, so can you just walk us through like how everything started?
Right. Well, in terms of education backgrounds, I'm an art student since the eighth grade. Been learning, associating with all kinds of paintings, such as like oil painting and sketch or charcoal, watercolor, those type of painting. So I've always been an art student. And then I was a computer art major in Academy of Art, San Francisco, from 2002 to 2006. Yeah, of course, back then the CGI, the whole 3D industry was still underdeveloped compared to nowadays technology demands. Yeah.
And I know you had like a big passion for cars. You were pretty much a Tokyo drifter, huh? So I remember I've seen a lot of the sketches of the cars you had. Is that kind of like a hobby that turned into reality, or was that something that you're just always passionate and doing in your private time?
Exactly. Yeah, I consider myself as a car person in a real life as well. You know, I fix up cars and I do a little bit of software about industrial design, car design, vehicles especially. Yeah, so my model expertise and are pretty much, I'm specialized in hard surfacing. So in terms of hard surfacing, a lot to do with the car modeling. Yeah. From the early days, we used NURBS, and of course nowadays people using 3D polygons to build their models. But you know, I was starting from a NURBS modeling. Yeah,
and it kind of came full circle because I know you worked on different cartoons, but one of the recent projects the cartoon that I've seen on Netflix, what's it called again? The Fast and Furious one.
A Fast and Furious Spy Racer. I was one of the model leads for this project.
So it kind of came full circle that you always wanted to do cars, and now it's like a massive project that you actually get to do it.
Yeah, I was so lucky, a privilege to have a privilege to work with DreamWorks Animation, and I was. This project has really, you know, it's like a dream come true to be able to work with such an incredible crew. Yeah,
and I saw your name as well in the credits and stuff. So it's the big leagues.
Yes.
Are there any projects? I'm curious. Are there any projects that like you've really wanted to work on, or any type of maybe animation or characters and props that you didn't really get a chance to yet? Like, is there anything cool that you'd still want to finish in your career that you haven't gotten a chance to work on?
I would say I would like to do a little bit more of feature film rather than, you know, nowadays we're doing more of TV series. Those you can see on Netflix and Cartoon Network channel. But I would like to really work on the big screen, which we talk about, you know, Hollywood films like, you know, the next whatever that's going to publish from DreamWorks. And
That's cool. How about any like space stuff? Like, would you ever do like I don't know, spaceships or anything like that?
Yeah, you know, I'm 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 not so into like alien type of stuff or like, I'm type of like vehicle person, as you know. I build mostly around the cars or the props, the toys, and
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Okay, so
I can show you a little bit of the the render icons that we done back in the day.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
So,
We can get to that in a second. But let's talk about this project a little bit. So when we came to you, I mean, we've tried to hire private companies or private art studios to help us design kind of this main 3D character avatar, right? So the first character is the most important because that's what everything else is built on. All the other characters, the style, the character, like the personality. I mean, just the kind of the edginess or whatever. Everything starts with the first character. That's the most important. So we got outside studios. We got a lot of different bids, and we got a lot of different samples. And the one we thought was the best, I came to you as a friend because I know that's what you do, and I asked for your opinion. And I'm really happy that it was a lot of criticism, not in a bad way, but I trust your opinion because I've seen a lot of your work. So can you just talk a little about the first character that we came with you? Like, what was lacking there? What was your first impression? Or what did you think were some of the shortcomings? Or, what was wrong with it? And, don't hold anything back. Just your honest opinion. What did you think about it first?
Yeah, in terms of the style approach, I don't think it quite get what's because those are more like a cartoonish kind of style, and I feel what's lacking of its level of the detail. Of course, the first at the really beginning, I feel if you're going to have a fur on the body, as opposed to to um, to using the Maya fur, that's what we call it, to integrate in the Maya in different program. But I know the program you guys are using a Blender, and I know Blender, it's user friendly. It's very quick to get to the point, but then still a little short on level of the details. Yeah, and I think the first time I saw the character you sent me, and I feel just the style wise, it's the body torso. It's a little bit out of proportion. Yeah, and it's not up to the demand. If later on we're going to rig the character and to be able to animate it, I think it's going to cause a lot of problem, especially just the T-pose itself. It's not up to
it wasn't up to par.
Yeah,
of course
not up to demand.
It's really important since it's going to be the main character, and our main thing is of course the video game. So both the same style is going to be featured in the game, but of course the character is coming down the line. So if the personality doesn't come through in that character, I think people lose the connection to it right away. And the way I felt as well after what you mentioned is that our character looked more like a goat who has a few too many beers on the weekends. It had a beer belly, and it didn't look like somebody you can relate to or somebody you can cheer for, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I have to be honest.
No, I appreciate that. That's what we came to you. That's what we wanted to work with you. And when you presented some sketches to us, you presented some ideas, some different styles of different characters, and the main difference was that rather than being rounded, it was a little bit more boxy. But can you talk me through why that style, or why do you feel that's more appropriate?
Right. I just feel like as you look back, all the Warner Brothers or talk about DC movies, and you see a lot of characters, they always carry this little boxy or angular sort of shape in terms of round, because that's going to be very interesting. It talks about it's going to be more appealing when you makes the character do a 3D turnaround, because you're going to see a lot of reflection to catch all the details on the angles, on the angle side. So
it's more sharp, more edgy in a way, I guess.
More sharp. Yeah, exactly.
And would you say that it also ages better? Because some cartoons, if you watch today, that were made even 7-8 years ago, they already look like they're dated. But there's other cartoons that were made 20 years ago, but they still look like they're top notch, right? So would you say that also having that boxiness maybe makes it last longer and maintain that classical look in a way?
Yeah, I think the style approach is very subjective, but I would say this. I think, as you know, Walter Disney and DreamWorks have gone a long way to creating, even Warner Brothers, that as we speak now, has gone a long way to creating this specific style to attract their audience. I think that's something that's been locked for a very long time. Yeah.
And they got billions of dollars in testing and advertising and probably surveys, so they know what works and what doesn't.
Right.
And the next thing I'm going to ask you, maybe I know you got contract limitations, and maybe it's a bit confidential. So you don't need to tell anything that you cannot share. But you presented to us some sketches and ideas, some kind of sample styles. Like, okay, maybe the feet are really good on this character, or the head or the torso on this one. Whichever ones you can share, can you maybe, you don't need to show, but can you just mention some of the inspiration you had for this? Like any heroes or any particular style of a cartoon that you drew inspiration to make this character?
Right. I think we got our most of get-go concept artists from the DreamWorks headquarters. But then, yeah, we basically just transformed from 2D into 3D. So I'm not too much of a concept artist. Instead, I'm just always on creating to make 2D represent, to be able to represent in shots in scenes, movie scenes. So does that answer your question?
Kind of, like, sure. I guess, I don't know if I'm allowed to say any character names, but some of the characters you showed me sketches of, and that's private, we're not going to share that. Like, we're not going to show any pictures, but you send me a couple like really well-known characters that if anybody saw them, they would recognize that. Some of the things you've been working on.
Yeah, like Hiccup and Astro from How to Train Your Dragons.
Right.
I'm not sure if you know one of the talk show hosts called Conan O'Brien.
Yes, of course.
And we've done his 3D feature films and just a short film, a funny one. Cool. Cool, yeah. I personally done that on my own by myself.
Wow.
I was the starter of that short film, and that was I believe that was 5 minutes long. I think you can find that find those sources on YouTube as well.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think I saw Lego or Batman somewhere in there.
And by the time he was a friend of very well-known director called Bruce Timm, and he basically worked in Warner Brothers back then. So yeah, I had such a privilege to be able to work across the whole, a short film. Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Now, can you walk me through? Maybe can you show us your screen or your workstation? Can you walk us through like the character, the first character that we have here, and
cool.
Just
let me.
Yes. There we go.
All right.
Young G in the top left corner.
All right. So let me.
Can we make it full screen, maybe? The soft part. Oh, perfect. Now.
Okay. So this is the Green Lantern from early days. I would say this has been how many years? I forgot.
Almost, more than 10, probably, right?
I would say almost 8 or 9 years. Yeah, almost a decade ago. Yeah. So this is the characters we talk about. It has more, boxy. Sort of
boxy torso, chest,
torso. Yeah, it just gives you more like a sort of powerful,
punchiness,
angular, like kind of expression. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and let me go one by one. And this is those one I'm showing you is the render shots. But you can find those on the website as well. The Green Lantern website,
and that's the style we like, of course. When you presented us with the character with the first sketch, and it looks so cool.
Right, and okay, and moving on. I think that's the project we done on the starting of 2019. That's the
Fast and Furious cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, my specialty
that looks pretty badass, to be honest.
Yeah, my specialty is building the cars. That's high density poly mesh, so it looks realistic. Yeah, and of course, a lot has to do with the render and shading,
reflections, lighting,
reflections. Wow. And, yeah,
that looks super realistic.
Right. Except for the character, I think the character somehow they still wanted to keep a little bit cartoonish. Yeah, but the car itself it speaks for itself. Yeah, and of course a lot of motion blurs and renders. You see the background how they, when the cars jumps flipping through the air, and you see the backgrounds start getting blurry, and that's kind of effects we are using. To when we consider to do a little bit more of realistic approach. Yeah. And then moving on, we have How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, that's the Toothless. Yeah, the main character, main dragon. Yeah, Toothless, and those are on Netflix. How to Train.
Everybody loves that, I think.
Yeah. And of course, this is the TV series we talk about. But this one caused a lot of work, because this is all like high resolution renders. So it's more close to the movie production rather than just the TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You see the level of the detail is still pretty obvious. You see all the bumps and
every vein, everything.
Yeah. Every detail is as you see, yeah. And yeah, that's the Night Fury. The main character hiccups. Yeah, Night Fury driven by a main character hiccup. Yeah, and that's the recent project. And I would say the project from 2020 was starting this project, and that's Jurassic World. Yeah, of course the whole story was behind the Jurassic Park back in the days. Yes. Yeah, so that's Jurassic World.
And the movie with Chris Pratt recently as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So this also has high level of detail. This film, I would say, this one film is one of our best portfolio ever.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can see the details on the dragons itself, and of course this has more DreamWorks style approach. Yeah. Yep.
Can you walk us through the goat as well, and like the character that you made for us, and maybe just zoom in on some of the details, talk about maybe some of the hard parts that some of the wrinkles you ran into, or maybe what were the most challenging parts of it?
Our character, right?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So let's start with the modeling. Just going to use the default material so you guys see more clear. Okay, so
there it is, the OG, the original goat.
Exactly. Let me smooth this out. Okay, so how you want to start it? Like, just talk about.
Yeah, like maybe what were the hardest parts? Like, I know that you put a lot of attention to the detail, maybe some of the accessories. Right. And just talk about kind of what went into making it.
Yeah, I at the beginning, I treat this character as one of the movie quality, I would say, at least game preview quality. So as you can see, the poly density, it's pretty high in terms of the render and everything, how they present. It's the quality, it's up to the standard and for movies. Yeah.
And I like that he's still human enough. He doesn't have a perfect six pack. He's got a beard, a bit of a belly, but he's still cool.
Right. In terms of the style, I think I want to get this character a little more like a funky urban gangster type of look.
That's what we're going
for. It has his own, shirts, workout shirts, and just basically the tank top, that's what you want me to call it, right? And it has a gold chain to represent, those gangsters smoke marijuana. So,
well, our cartoon is gonna have few word in it, so
specifically just to represent, the gangster side of him, and
the cool shades.
I'm sorry?
The cool shades and the leather jacket.
Oh, the leather jacket, of course. And the leather jacket, I think that I spend most of the time on building leather jacket because it's not symmetrical. It has, the
different parts hanging and folds.
Yeah, the pocket, the zipper, it's one side, but not on the other. And so everything's on some and symmetrical. Yeah. So basically, I spend most of the time on building those details. We talked about, how the actual the buckles and all the silverwares. And so, and a little bit, I put a little wrinkle on it, and especially this shoulder pads I created on my own. I thought it just looks more like edgy. Those DC heroes, as it came along. Yeah. So, yeah.
How would you feel like knowing that this is going to be featured in potentially the first crypto NFT cartoon? Like there's a lot of different kind of animations people do and stuff, but nobody has really made like a really high quality cartoon. So what would it feel like for you to, have your name featured in much the first one of its kind?
Oh, it would be a great honor to have my name on it. But I'm just saying, in terms of style approach, at the beginning, I was a bit confused. Should I make it more realistic or more funky? Because nowadays, as I said, the style can be really subjective. People have different tastes, right? But I'm glad this came along. It has a detail, but not losing too much in reality. We talk about the details that presenting on itself. Yeah.
And we wanted to give you, creative freedom because you're the artist at the end of the day. And of course, we got Mike, who was working. We did a lot of the DC characters as well, but the 2D versions. He doesn't do 3D.
Yeah, that really helps. I would say that really helps. You give me a lot of room to let me do my own thing. So
exactly.
Right. Yeah. That really. Yeah, that gives me a lot of room to work on this character without
being creative.
Right, exactly.
Now, the question I have, I guess, what I'm wondering, other characters will be based on this one. So, of course, the style will be similar, but how would you add, aside from clothing, because they're all going to have different clothing, but how would you add variability or kind of personality to all the other goats that will be modeled based on that? How can you really, have a similar style but a different personality? What would you do for, let's say, the 2nd, 5th, and 10th character differently?
Right. I think in terms of animation production, that we always going to have a concept artist, and then we always going to have a great script. So the script tells the story. So the story defines what type of character we are going to
if we got a funny guy, if we got a joker, or if we got a serious guy, maybe I guess the facial expressions would be different, or maybe some of the ratios in the body, the dimensions.
I think the overall, I would say at least the poly density and the style, the original style of it's not going to change so much, but just maybe we have another animal, human-like type of characters next to it. And it will be same amount of quality, but with a different look. Of course.
A little bit chubbier, or a little bit taller, or whatever. Different color.
A little bit taller, a little bit maybe more bony, maybe more fat. It depends on
like
the
more
story.
More sharp, or more angry look in the eye, or kind of a more jolly face, right?
Exactly, but that's going to be the whole new chapter of the. It depends on how the story goes, and
of course, we'll be working closely together on that in the future. Right. That looks amazing, and we really appreciate all your work, and we look forward to start with the production and of course the animation, all of that, and working with you closely. So I just want to thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. It's been hard to schedule this call, but we really appreciate you. And thanks for everything you did, and we look forward to see what the cartoon is going to turn out like.
Okay, thank you. Let me know anytime.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
大家好啊，我是 Louis Tang。OK， 那我做这个动画这一行，或者说这个3D 模型，大概差不多有12年。然后其实我们都是在一家台北的公司叫 CGCG， 那我们主要是在帮梦工厂代工这个早期的这个，比如说直到现在都有在帮他们陆续在代工所谓这个，你们大家可以在上面看到，比如说像这个 Netflix、Cartoon Network Channel， 然后上面就可以看到的一些这个3D 电视剧I would say TV series 电视剧呀。那基本上的话，我从这个小时候，我大概是8年级的时候开始 ，8th grade 差不多就是要国中的时候，我就在美术班。那个时候主要还是在画画，比如说水彩、油画、素描这些东西。那后来到了这个大学的时候，我到这个美国旧金山 San Francisco 去念我的这个美术这样子。然后那个时候我的 majors I was computer art major， 在旧金山的时候，然后那个时候就是开始做了这个比如说 hard surfacing 做这个主要是做车子，那做了不少的人物角色这样。那后来持续工作都是在做陆续相关的东西。那基本上我对车子啊这些 parts 啊这些零件啊都非常的有兴趣，甚至我私底下平时就是很喜欢这个改装车的一个算是一个爱好者。对，那其实我们最近应该说我们陆续以来都做了蛮多其实还蛮这个所谓的 high quality， 我们这个蛮电影的是电影的这个品质的这个3D 的电视剧那
我的中文不太好，那我听得懂一点点。So 非常感谢。
Okay, so that's about it.
All right, bro.
I think we talk most of the stuff is on the English
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, bro. That was perfect. You smashed me. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
No problem.